Edward Albee's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, first performed in 1962, is a landmark of American theater, a blistering examination of marriage, illusion, and the corrosive power of truth. Set over the course of a single, alcohol-soaked night, the play unfolds in the living room of George and Martha, a middle-aged couple whose relationship is a battlefield of wit, resentment, and buried pain. Joined by their guests, the younger couple Nick and Honey, the evening spirals into a series of psychological games that strip away facades and expose raw vulnerabilities. Albee's masterpiece is both a domestic drama and a profound allegory, questioning the nature of reality and the lies we tell to survive. This article provides a detailed summary of the play's plot, an analysis of its characters and themes, and a reflection on its enduring impact. The play opens in the early hours of the morning as George and Martha return to their home on the campus of a small New England college. George, a weary history professor in his mid-40s, and Martha, the brassy, outspoken daughter of the college president, are already bickering. Their dialogue crackles with sharp humor and veiled hostility, setting the tone for what's to come. Martha announces that she's invited guests, a new biology professor, Nick, and his wife, Honey, for drinks, despite the late hour and George's reluctance. When Nick and Honey arrive, the contrast between the two couples is immediate. Nick, handsome and ambitious, exudes a youthful confidence that George lacks, while Honey, timid and naive, seems out of place in the charged atmosphere. Martha wastes no time asserting her dominance, flirting with Nick and mocking George's lack of professional success. George retaliates with sardonic jabs, revealing a dynamic where love and loathing are inextricably linked. The act introduces the first of many games the characters play. Martha brings up a humiliating story about George being knocked into a punch bowl at a faculty party, delighting in his discomfort. George counters with a tale of a boy who accidentally killed his parents, a story that seems fictional but carries an unsettling weight. As the liquor flows, tensions rise, and the guests become unwitting pawns in George and Martha's marital warfare. Honey, overwhelmed by the hostility and her own drinking, excuses herself to vomit, while Nick begins to see the cracks in his host's facade. The act ends with the sense that something darker lies beneath the surface, waiting to erupt.
Named after the witches' Sabbath of German folklore, the second act plunges deeper into chaos. With Honey sidelined by her sickness, the remaining trio, George, Martha, and Nick, engage in increasingly vicious exchanges. Martha escalates her provocation by recounting George's failures in excruciating detail, including his inability to take over her father's position as college president. George, in turn, needles Nick about his ambition and hints at secrets about Honey that Nick would rather keep buried. A pivotal moment comes when Martha crosses a line by mentioning their son. Up until now, the couple's child has been an unspoken presence, but Martha's decision to bring him into the conversation enrages George. He warns her not to start in on the bit about the kid, but Martha persists, describing their son's childhood in a mix of tenderness and spite. The revelation unsettles Nick, who senses that this is more than just a marital spat. It's a ritual of destruction. As the night wears on, the games grow more explicit. George invents "Get the Guests," targeting Honey's fragility and Nick's insecurities. He uncovers that Honey's hysterical pregnancy led to their marriage and implies she's avoided motherhood since, devastating her when she overhears. Meanwhile, Martha takes Nick into another room, ostensibly to seduce him, while George reads alone, feigning indifference. The act climaxes with Martha and Nick returning, her taunting George about his inadequacy as a man. George smashes a bottle in fury, signaling that the pretense is crumbling. Honey, now drunk and distraught, collapses, and the night teeters on the edge of collapse. The final act, titled The Exorcism, is a reckoning. With dawn approaching, the characters are exhausted, their defenses battered. Honey, sobered slightly, re-enters the scene, while Nick's polished exterior has frayed under the weight of the night's revelations. Martha, emboldened by her earlier triumph over George, continues to push, but George takes control in a way no one expects. He announces a new game, bringing up baby. With chilling calm, he tells the story of their son's death, claiming he received a telegram that day informing them the boy died in a car accident after swerving to avoid a porcupine, echoing the earlier tale of the boy who killed his parents. Martha protests hysterically, insisting George can't do this, but he presses on, reciting a requiem for their child. The twist emerges. There is no son. The child was a shared fiction, a fantasy George and Martha constructed to fill the void of their childless marriage. By killing him, George destroys the illusion that has sustained them. Nick and Honey, stunned, realize they've witnessed something both intimate and alienating. As guests, they're outsiders to this private mythology, yet they've been complicit in its unraveling. With the truth laid bare, Martha collapses emotionally, her bravado gone. The play closes with George softly singing, "Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?" a nursery rhyme riff on the title, while Martha admits, "I am, George, I am." The lights dim on a couple stripped of their games, facing an uncertain dawn. The four characters of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf are richly drawn, each embodying distinct facets of human experience. George, the history professor, is a man of intellect and suppressed rage, worn down by years of disappointment and Martha's dominance. His wit is his weapon, but it masks a deep vulnerability. Martha, by contrast, is a force of nature, loud, crude, and unapologetic. Her aggression hides a profound loneliness and a longing for the child she never had. Together, they're a symbiotic unit, their love expressed through mutual destruction. Nick represents the American dream in its youthful prime, handsome, athletic, and ambitious. Yet his sheen fades as his own weaknesses, his opportunistic marriage to Honey, his willingness to play along with Martha's advances, come to light. Honey, the least complex of the quartet, is a fragile figure, her innocence a foil to the other's cynicism. Her drunken revelations and physical frailty underscore the toll of the night's events. At its core, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf is about the tension between illusion and reality. George and Martha's invented son is the ultimate symbol of this theme, a lie they've nurtured to cope with their barrenness and unfulfilled lives. Albee suggests that such illusions are both a comfort and a cage, offering temporary solace at the cost of authentic connection. The play's title, a play on Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, and a nod to Virginia Woolf's intellectual rigor, implies a fear of facing life without pretense. Another key theme is the destructiveness of power dynamics in relationships. George and Martha's marriage is a power struggle, each seeking to wound the other more deeply. Their games, humiliate the host, hump the hostess, get the guests, externalize this conflict, drawing Nick and Honey into their orbit. Albee critiques the societal masks of success and happiness, showing how they crumble under scrutiny. Alcohol, a constant presence, amplifies these themes. It lowers inhibitions, fuels the games, and blurs the line between truth and fiction. The play's claustrophobic setting, one room, one night, heightens the sense of entrapment, making the characters' emotional unraveling inevitable. When Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf debuted, it shocked audiences with its raw language and unflinching portrayal of marital dysfunction. Coming at the dawn of the 1960s, a decade of social upheaval, it challenged the post-war ideal of domestic bliss. Its Pulitzer Prize win in 1963 cemented Albee's status as a major playwright, though its explicit content sparked controversy. The 1966 film adaptation, starring Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, brought the play to a wider audience, with Taylor's Oscar-winning performance as Martha amplifying its cultural footprint. Over the decades, the play has been revived numerous times, its themes of disillusionment and human frailty remaining timeless. Critics have debated its influences, from Strindberg's brutal realism to the absurdism of Beckett. Albee himself described it as an exploration of the capacity of people to live with illusions and without them. Its ambiguity, is George and Martha's final moment one of despair or tentative hope, invites endless interpretation. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf is a harrowing, hilarious, and ultimately haunting work. Through its 3 acts, Albee crafts a narrative that's both a microscopic study of 2 couples and a macroscopic critique of human existence. George and Martha's fictional son, the games they play, and the truths they unearth resonate as a metaphor for the stories we tell ourselves to endure. As the curtain falls, we're left with a question. Are we, like Martha, afraid of a life without illusions? Albee offers no easy answers, only the stark beauty of the struggle.